Welcome back to TBA Talk Trigger Show. Happy New Year. I know it's been a long time as I tango to Nane, and this year we are back again at it bigger and better. And today we have a guest with us, a very young man, handsome I can say, very knowledgeable, and we are going to tackle issues concerning culture, adaptability in community work. So welcome to the show, bro. Maybe just a brief intro about yourself, who you are, what you do, where you come from. Yes.
Asante sana Samambo. Jina langu ni Lane. Ninatoka Amerikani. I am 21 years old. Recently graduated university in the United States in New York City. Study international development. And my passion is really about connecting with community projects and especially working with youth empowerment initiatives in African countries specifically is what I'm very passionate about. So it's been really great to be here in Kenya, and I'm certainly we'll get into that in more detail, but I think for me, I want to work with young people, and being one myself and understanding the struggles when it comes to issues such as education and unemployment, things of that nature are things that I'm going through myself right now as a young person. So for me, it's certainly the area that I want to be in, and I'm very grateful to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. And maybe just to compare a few things here. Mm-hmm. You know, many times when you look at you guys, you think maybe your home is a home of milk and honey, you know. Mm-hmm. How long have you been in Kenya, by the way?
So I've been in Kenya for about a month now.
A month now,
on
yeah?
Monday, yes.
So if you try and make a comparison between the life we live this side and the life we live at the US, is it different, or maybe what can you say about it?
I actually would say that it's not that different in terms of, especially thinking as a young person and kind of the hustle and bustle of the city, you know, where we are in Kisumu. I think for me, it reminds me a lot of home, where I'm from in New York City. Is a giant bustling city. Everyone's got somewhere to be, and traffic is all over the place. So for me, it's obviously a different city and a different culture and different experience, but I really do get a little sense of home when I'm in the city, because that's just what I'm comfortable with. So it's actually interesting.
Thank you. And maybe what are some of the common challenges you've noticed? Mm-hmm. Maybe the challenges that we as Kenyans are experiencing here and maybe back at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, from kind of a youth-focused kind of perspective, I think finding meaningful employment, especially for recent university graduates or secondary school graduates, is a major challenge in the United States as well. If you happen to be one of, from a more fortunate family that can afford to send you to, the top schools and the top universities, they tend to prosper and do very well. But there are a lot of Americans and, Kenyans as well who work very hard and get good degrees, but maybe don't have the same connections or family resources to get them to where they need to be. So that's certainly definitely a common challenge is, how for kind of, I guess you call it maybe the middle class, or for most people who work very hard, both in the United States and Kenya, and are deserving of opportunities for, a meaningful career and building a family, how do they get those opportunities? And I think I see a lot of similarities between what I've experienced myself in the United States and what happens here in Kenya. I feel the energy of young people here, and striving as entrepreneurs and starting their own businesses or initiatives, or wanting to continue to higher education. So I get definitely very similar senses of drive and motivation as well between the two countries.
Maybe in your stay, you said like a month right now in Kenya, yeah?
That's correct.
Maybe can you talk about your experience?
Sure.
You've engaged yourself in various community projects. I also understand that you are attached to some CSOs around in Kisumu, right? Mm-hmm. So what is the experience? How has it been?
Sure. So I've been volunteering, interning with an organization called Better Me. So they're actually a German-run nonprofit, but based here outside of Kisumu, and they work on a lot of youth empowerment initiatives. And one that I've been particularly involved in on the kind of project management side is Youth Unleashed mentorship program, which has been a really great initiative for me to be a part of. And really about providing psychosocial support, mental wellness, and just general mentorship support for young people, both primary school and secondary school age. So helping to kind of get the word out about the program, applying for grant proposals as well is a big part of my role, and really just helping to establish the goals and objectives of the organization, of the initiatives. So for me, that's kind of been the better me portion of things.
So do you like the experience?
Oh, I love it. I mean, every Kenyan that I've worked with here is wonderful, and like I said, there's a lot of energy here, and there's so many young people in need of this support, and it's really been incredible to see the reach that this program has, and thousands of young people have been reached by this, and even just simple activities and exercises are a real way to kind of get people engaged and talking about some really tough issues. But I think I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, we really love to get to hear more from you, and maybe if you already learned a few Swahili terms or language you can use around.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that after the break. Welcome back. Remember, this is TBA Talk Trigger Show. Head over to our YouTube channels, like, share, subscribe. Earlier on, we were talking with Lane over here, and he's sharing a bit of insight on the life back at home, comparing it with the life also here in Kenya. And before we went to the break, maybe any Swahili words that you've learned around?
Ninajifunza Kiswahili kidogo. It's it's a process for me, trying to learn a little bit more of the language. But even little things like kuja hapa are very helpful, especially when I work with younger children. Even just basic things like that to help engage with them. And I found even a little Swahili goes a long way.
Perfect.
So yeah.
So working with younger children, meaning you are engaged in a few community projects around, yeah?
That's correct.
Maybe just to share one or two projects that you've engaged in locally or even in Africa.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, definitely locally, one thing that I've been a part of since I came to Kisumu is a CBO called the Homeless of Kisumu. So that provides social support services to younger children as well as more secondary school age, who either have come from disadvantaged backgrounds, from street-connected families, and really providing social support for them, with our team of psychologists and social workers to really try to identify where they're really struggling and try to find rehabilitative options for them, whether it's going back into school or maybe an entrepreneurship program or trying to reunite them with next of kin. So I myself don't have a social work background, but really supporting that through grants, also some measuring the impact of these programs, really breaking down how many kids are being supported and the sustainability of these initiatives. So that's been something I've been very fortunate to be a part of since I came here.
So at least now you have some insight on local community projects.
Yes.
Given a chance, maybe what is one initiative that you as Lane can come up with to support the development of our communities locally?
Sure. I think for me, based on my prior experience, a really great opportunity is kind of a skills development or pathway program for recent graduates into the tech sector. I found as a really, in some of my prior experiences with United States development agencies, that the tech sector is a really big area of growth. For young people, software engineers, programmers, those skills are very much in demand. I worked on a prior project in Nigeria, actually working with Google, and we helped create a pathways program for recent Nigerian graduates who had these skills, really giving them an opportunity to start careers.
Okay. Yeah, so sitting next to you, I feel so inspired, and we have so many youth in Kenya.
Yeah.
Many of our youths, we are trying to do our best, we in our small or big ways.
Right.
Or maybe an advice to the youth out there. What can you tell them, the Kenyan youth who are listening and watching this interview?
Sure. I think the one piece of advice that I would give, to any Kenyan young person is really just to embrace education for, as long as you can. I think for something that's, for me, was really helpful, I really dedicated myself to my studies and really tried to get myself involved in extracurriculars, gain some professional opportunities. Just I think to really view education as a way to improve your life is a really important thing that my family really embraces back home in the United States. And I know that the barriers here to doing that can be very difficult, and especially when it comes to tuition fees, for example, can be very expensive for many lower income families. But if it means applying to scholarships or doing any sort of work that you can really just recognizing how important education is for the rest of your life. I think that's really the most important advice that I could give to a Kenyan person or to an American back home as well. Like I said, these are very universal issues, and I think it's all about just sticking with it as long as you can. If you can get a secondary degree, that's wonderful. If you're fortunate enough to go to university, that's great as well. Just really embracing that philosophy, I think, can take you a long way.
Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Karibu.
Na hope umesikia mayouth hapo nje mazee. Chukua your advice, tilia manani, and thank you so much for coming through. Hope next time when I call again, you'll come through and we have more engagement with you. So hii imekuwa TBA Talk Trigger Show, na till next time mazee, tuko tu hapa hivi. Remember to like, share, subscribe.